and from just looking from their lens as they were writing the book, what it was all about. Today, we're going to be talking to Pastor Jethro Mukome, who's actually a couples, jigo, pastor. A couples,
marriage pastor.
marriage pastor.
Yeah, and a marriage counselor.
Couples counselor. So are you saying you only focus on married couples? What about those who are, trying to enter into marriage or who are even dating? Do you also cover that?
Yeah, because marriage can do university. Saka tinotanga navo vari from primary school, high school, and that will culminate in marriage.
Great. So welcome to the program. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
Yeah, I know you've got a couple of books that you've written, which are actually quite interesting, I should say so.
Yeah.
As a marriage pastor, as a marriage counselor, I'm sure you've actually seen a lot, you've heard a lot. Let's start off with you. Do you practice what you preach?
Yeah, I do.
Do you practice this? No, we need to know.
Yeah.
You practice what you preach.
Yeah. I do. I try my level best.
You try your level best. But we're human at the end of the day. So either way, sometimes we fall short, but we still jump back on the wagon.
Exactly.
Today we're talking about The Crisis of the Fathers, okay, which is a book written by Pastor Jethro, and it basically focuses on the father and how, in the society that we live in today, the role of the father has sort of eroded with time. You find that, as we know it, if you actually know how the structure of a marriage is supposed to be like, whereby the husband is the head of the house, he's the provider, he's supposed to be the protector as well. That means he's supposed to be there to protect his family, he's supposed to be there to provide for his family, he's supposed to be the head, the one that leads the family. But is that what is happening within our own society in this day and age? Or we've seen a shift, a change of how things have come? Has it become a crisis? How then can we rectify everything? Before we get into detail of the book, let's just come through with Pastor Jethro there. Maybe you can just give us, not too much, just an author of yourself as an author.
Yeah, my name is Pastor Jethro Mukome, as you've heard. I'm a marriage pastor. I'm a marriage counselor. I'm the co-founder of the Great Couples International Trust, together with my beautiful girlfriend Christina. This is what we do, trying to repair and promote the marriage institution. As you know, marriage is under siege.
It's definitely
under siege. Yeah.
You find that couples can last. That will last a good. You didn't get to last. In fact, my husband after 5 years. How many months to do? 5 years.
I've had cases and the counselors who have fallen out after 6 months of marriage. 6 months. You ask them why. I think I made a mistake. But these guys dated for 3 years. And the moment they said I do, their marriage could not last 6 months. Yeah, it's an issue for another day. Why people can date for 5 years and fail to
progress in
marriage, for more than a year.
Okay, we'll talk about that. But today, as we focus on the crisis of the father, and like in any system, right? Like you rightfully say that it's only essential and effective way to operate with the head. The head is the one, and that's how we look at the head of the house. Now, when you're talking about the crisis of the fathers, and you're talking about the head, usually we then look at a unit of a family. That's how we're looking at it, a unit of a family. Are there still strong family units right now? Do they exist?
Yeah, there exists. Mine is an example. In the midst of chaos, there's always hope.
Okay, we'll use yours as an example. It's fine.
Yeah. But the challenge is you must note every time we work with the majority. Yeah, if you are going to classify a certain situation as being a problem, it means you are looking at what you are looking at the majority. So if the abnormal outweighs the normal, then we paint everything abnormal. But it does not mean that there are no working marriages out there. There are. Mine is an example, and I know there are others which are working. But unfortunately, those which are heralded are those that are failing. Unfortunately, so we are trying to paint a different picture. We are trying to make people see that in today's world, marriage remains a beautiful institution because it is the best gift that God gave unto man.
Okay, so let's talk about men who fail in their leadership role. All right, let's just talk about that. Where does it come from when we say that a man has failed as a leader? How can we classify it? The Tenta Butarasachi in this instance, that's what we're saying we're looking at. What makes it look like a failure for him to be, the leader of his family? What do we look at?
Yeah, in this book, The Christ of the Fathers, I think introduction, I talk about removing the head of a chicken. If you remove the head of a chicken, some sort of sear, it loses direction. It goes into it goes into things, and it does not even sense trouble, uh, and eventually it dies. But so far, yakonzera a lot of chaos. Mapota nekapwanyika ndiro dzapwanyika ichingomhanya. So when a father has failed when the head has failed, you begin to see disorder. And disorder, it shows up in the family, especially the children. Children begin to misbehave. You can actually tell kumba kukubvana, I think kwashaya musoro. Because musoro ndoone brain, ndoonofanira kutungamirira. Goods train mukangona chinonzi musoro chetrain once it derails, all the wagons are going to follow. So when a father is derailed, you can tell from disorder. Inoitika kubva kuna mai kusvika kuana, there's clear disorder.
In the book, do you address any devastating consequences of fatherless home? Do you actually address any particular practical examples in this particular book when we look at that?
Yes. I do address. I always say kuti children don't just turn out to be bad, or they just turn out to misbehave. Like what we are seeing today was vanhu vazhinji vari kubvunza kuti what's really happening with our children. But the answer is very simple. If you meet a child who has got a big nose, kuma shops, don't ask the kid where he got the nose from. Just follow the kid home. Because when you get home, okay, that's where the nose came from. So vana vangoita misbehave. It's coming from somewhere. And an institution is as good as its leader. When the leadership begins to fail, then everything that falls under that leadership will also suffer. So when the father begins to fail to lead, then it shows up in the children. Saka ndine nyaya ndotaura nezvaimomo yekuti why the office of the father is important. Because the father is the one who carries the blessing of the family. Saka kubva kune mudzimai kusvika kuana, it's the father who carries the blessing. If the father is not in his office, then there's no one who's going to bless. And everyone who is in this world needs a covering of the blessing of a father. The blessing of a father is a torch that we need to light up our paths in this world. The blessing of a father is a covering that we all need. Zvimwe kwatiri nyaya yekuti tikurwa neminyama because our fathers have never blessed us. They've never covered us. That's why the enemy wants to destroy the office of the father.
Which is interesting that you're bringing this up because I also want to ask if this book also touches on families that are not together. If you understand what I'm trying to say, whereby the father and the mother are not together anymore. Is it still possible for the father to come through and head? It's not a family unit. Is it still possible in situations like that for him to sort of head his family in quotes?
Zvakangofanana nemunhu asina makumbo. We have to find ways of helping them move from point A to B. Satozotsvaga mauche ekuti vafambe and so forth, but it's not ideal. So if the father is absent in a setup yekuti pamwe vanhu vakarambana, we just have to make things work, even though that's not it's not ideal. And in most cases, vana vanobva from such families, they are so bitter, because the father is trying to be present, but he's not present. Yeah, throughout my present absent fathers, they cannot deliver, because nyaya yeubaba is a full-time job. Fatherhood is not just about bringing people into this world. We need fathers to hold our hands and walk us through this world. This world is a dangerous place. So you need an authority to hold your hand and guide you through. But a father who's absent, a father who's trying to manage Ashansa Mari, there's something that lacks, because vana vanoda a present father, vana vanoda a relationship, vana vanoda a father who's a friend, so that the father is able to hold the hand of his children and guide them. I've got two boys, and I've been present in their lives, and I've guided them through issues. We talk about anything. That's what a father should do, not just being there to provide. Yes, provision is the most important, but the father has to be there to guide mwanama issues of pain. There are a lot of issues, things that they face, things that they pass through, that need a father who has got the experience to be able to guide them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. 0712-831-172. You can come through on our WhatsApp platform number, and you can come through with your contributions as we're talking about the crisis of the fathers. Now, you're saying that this book challenges men to take responsibility for their families and to reclaim their rightful place as leaders. It is actually a call to action book to return to their biblical role as husbands, fathers, and providers. And only when men stop blaming women and accept their own responsibility can we hope for a brighter future. Now, if we're looking at where we talk about men blaming women, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, this issue started way back in the Garden of Eden. Adam missed it. He messed up. Then, if you know your Bible, Adam tried to shift the blame, onto Eve, but God would not have any of that. You know why? Because taiti kudhara tichikura ukapiwa responsibility yekufudza mbudzi dzikapinda mugadheni revanhu dzikadya muriyo, asi mbudzi dzairohwa, aitsvagwa munhu, because ndiari responsible. So who is responsible for this institution? My wife is Christian, very beautiful. Ndikamwana Christina achibva kuchikoro, ndikamunetsa, I still remember. Akabereka secho, ndikamunetsa Christina, achindiramba, until one day bva ndawina. And I started this marriage project. So when it begins to fail, it's very unfortunate with this Sarume. When this thing begins to fail, we want to bring Christina in. But Christina does not know where this thing is coming from, because she's also looking for answers from me. So we've got men who are saying, you also come in. But a woman contribution in marriage is very minimal. I want you to understand that women are receivers. Whatever you give them, they just multiply. When I said to Christina, I love you, she said, I love you too, which means she was just giving me back what I gave her. So a woman, what she does is whatever you give her, she multiplies and she gives you back. But you must understand, this is why God held Adam responsible. When God came back, and a number of ones are with Adam and Eve, where are you? He said, Adam, where are you? Why did he not mention Eve's name? Because God did an agreement with Adam, not Eve. So I'm saying to today's men, we have to wake up. It's not about Eve. Saka Eve asked Pasija Kunesa 3P, where have you been? Have we not slept on the job, gentlemen? This is the question that I want us to start asking ourselves, and I want us to answer as men. This is why Eve now is taking over.
Okay, so let's just take a look at the contents of the book, all right? And it actually has 8 chapters in total with an introduction and a conclusion. And from the 8 chapters, we're going to tell you the headline of each or subtitle, yes, for each chapter. So the first chapter, of course, we start off with the introduction. To talk about the headless chicken.
Deadless chicken.
You know, she says, no, and it comes back to the headless chicken. Now let's talk about chapter 1. And the subtitle says, Man the Father versus God the Father. In this chapter, what do you tackle?
Man is the only creation which shares the same title with God. There's God the Father and there's man the Father. This office is because Father means source. Man helps God in creation. So man is a creator. This is why you see with my generations they come from man, because man carries the seed. Saka murume na mwari vanoccupy the same office. So tinotarisa kuna Mwari as the Father. The same attributes that we see kuna God the Father are the same attributes that we must see in this man the Father. God operates in 3 attributes: love, fairness, and justice. So man the Father must also operate in these 3 attributes. When he fails to do that, then we've got chaos.
Then we move on to chapter 2. It says, taking men back to God. In this chapter, what do you tackle?
It is God who ordained men into the office of the Father. You know, the office of the Father, we don't vote men into that office. I voted one. Man is ordained into the office of the Father by God. So when men moved away from God, when Adam lost his relationship with God, he also lost his authority. So we are saying, as long as men are away from the source of their authority was God, if they try to go back into the office, like they're going to fail, because they've got a woman who's also there, who's also fighting. So we are saying, back so that God reinstates you back into the office of the Father.
Okay. Chapter 3, Man the Provider. This is clear. Are we talking about money? Are we then talking about, pass?
Yeah.
The provider.
Yeah. When God pronounced punishment, he said to Eve, if I want punishment, that is pain during childbirth, yes, and your husband shall be your Lord. Then God says to Adam, your punishment is provision, which means good is you know, sweat, you are going to sweat. A problem, a very big spiritual problem, because murume afa kudya mukadzi ndafa kudya murume. Ikandikupe case yangu ini, whenever I ask Christian for money for fuel, akandipa inonyorwa pasi, ndinozobvunzwa time kuti chikwereti changu chikwereti, but inini anondidya ende hakuna bhuku rechikwereti record. That shows you kuti a man is what? A man is a provider. So when a man fails to provide, he fails to enter into the office of the Father. Because God created it in such a way that a man has to be able to provide first so that he enters into the office of the Father. Because these offices share a door. So when a man fails to enter into the office of the Father, that's the office of power. And the enemy is trying by all means to stop men from providing, so that man fails to enter into the ultimate office that he shares with God, the office of the Father.
Okay, interesting. We move on to chapter 4, which is the Father and his Son. Is this basically, are we talking about, fathers and sons only, or are we also looking at fathers and daughters as well? Or this is in a biblical manner?
Yeah, since this book is talking about the crisis of fathers, you must know that the boy is also a father in the making. So vanakomana vanoona vana baba vavo, they learn ubaba from seeing their fathers. So when their fathers are failing as fathers, the boy child is also going to fail. Because every man lives inside his son. Tichikura isusu tataka ndaisafarira zvaitwa namuta because I felt kuti mutara wangu was not a fighter, you know. But I felt kuti he used to give up easily. But as I grew older, ndakaona kuti nokuti zvekurwaka zvinenge zvinonetsa. You see, that's when I realized kuti aikaka fathers actually live inside their sons. So for us to change the son, we have to change the father first. Otherwise, this problem that we have of failed marriages, because men are running away from the responsibility of fatherhood, the son is also going to take after the father. So this issue will keep propagating and it will have no end.
Okay, so basically you're saying that the son learns from the father. Interesting. And then chapter 5 talks about men and his money. What is this one about?
In that chapter, I talk about money being a god.
Okay.
Money is a god, and the challenge that we now have is we are trying to replace, because when Adam fell in the Garden of Eden, he lost his godly authority. So the only thing that he could use for him to gain back his authority was money. So we now have men who believe that if I've got money, then I've got authority. But authority that comes from money lacks godliness. So I'm teaching men, you need God's authority for you to be able to lead your family. But when you want to use money as authority to lead your family, we are creating monsters. Because money is a god, and every god wants to be worshipped. Does one need 1 million to live well in this world? Why is it that mnakaita million akuda 2, ane 2 akuda 4, ane 4 akuda 8, ane 500 million akuda 1 billion? Why? Because money is a god. So the knows the woman. A woman came from, you see, Adam was created from dust. If you read your Bible, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, Adam was created from dust. But Eve was not created from dust. Eve was created from a superior material, which came from the man. So if you look at vanano creators, motor, but as a Toyota Land Cruiser at 2010, the Toyota Land Cruiser at 2025, Zarasiana 2025 is an upgraded version of the 2010. So a woman is an upgraded version of a man. This is why she's able to carry people inside. Huh? So she's more sophisticated, she's more complicated, and she's more specialized. I tell men with vakadzi vakangwara, vazhinji vakangwara vakadzi kupfuura varume, because they are an upgraded version. So auya mukadzi uyu to a man who has just been managing animals. The problem now comes in pakumanage mukadzi. Saka ndikuiti the man and his wife. Varume vazhinji vanoenda for counseling office kwangu. Vanotaura vachiti mufundisi, mudzimai wangu is a problem. I don't understand it. You know why we don't understand women? Because women are complicated. They're an upgraded version.
It's an upgrade.
She's an upgraded version of a man. So managing someone who is made from better material, someone who's more sophisticated. Look at me. I'm just a simple guy. But look at Rachel. The way she's made. She's a marvel. So this is why Adam, I don't blame Adam. Pakaona Eve achiintroduce why. Hanza akapererwa akashaya nezita rekupa. She's bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. That shows you kuti manager kwacho kwatomunetsa kuti how can I manage? Yeah. So we are now helping men how to manage this complicated creature called a woman.
This one is interesting. So it's got 8 chapters, all right? And for the final chapter, Pastor, Yamagatara, the spiritual father, in very brief, because we want to take some of the messages that are coming through on our WhatsApp platform number, what does it touch, the final chapter?
We have got this biological father, but we also have spiritual fathers, because we are born again as Christians. Those who take care of us when we are born again are our spiritual fathers. So when there is a chaos and the crisis of spiritual fathers, there's also chaos in the spirit realm. So munotanga kuona zviri kuitika kunyange mukatarisa church, zviri kuitika machurch, confusion iriko, church is sprouting all over and so forth. You look at those vatanga machurch, who is your father? You know, because when David was coming from defeating Goliath, so calls him. Habvunza about how David killed Goliath. Anobvunza, who is your father? So we ask all these people, you realize that most of them don't have fathers. So we have a crisis of spiritual fathers. The question is, are the fathers there in the first place? Are the fathers taking up their role?
Interesting book there. So if you are, a reader and you'd like to learn more from this book, The Crisis of the Fathers, coming through there from Pastor Jethro Mukome, this is what is actually talking about, with 8 chapters that are actually quite interesting. Thank you so much. Some of the messages that are coming through. Thank you so much for this book. Where can we get this book? How can people get this book, Pastor?
Okay, this book really Methodist Church, Trinity Church along Central. Really cool. Then a soft copy. My soft copies anogona kuwanikwa. The number inoshandiswa is 0777 308 726. Okay, if you want a copy, a soft copy, you can get it from that number. You just contact that number and you are told what to do.
All right. Well, thank you so much to you, Pastor Jethro. We definitely appreciate it. This is my last message saying thank you very much for this informative program. We are learning a lot. Tadziza Shakawanda. As men, we now know our roles in our families and being very responsible forever. That's come there from Simba, who is in Beatrice. If you want to get this book, then you know where to get it, as the numbers have been given out. We appreciate you coming through there to Turning Pages right here on Power FM Zimbabwe. And we are with the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation. Do check a time with mine. It is 12 o'clock. Time for us to cross over to the news desk. ndimi moga unogona kundibatsira pazvondikurira munguva dzakaoma ndimi moga Jesu